What's happening, YouTube? The Los Angeles Clippers faced against the Houston Rockets the night before the All-Star weekend, and the Clippers. I just say we did pretty good, considering it was against the Houston Rockets, who are a young and up and coming team that's trying to, grow in general. Like, they're like last place in the West, but it's part of building up, and you got to start from somewhere. But anyways, Clippers did amazing throughout the whole entire game. Like literally, everybody was just making shots. Ball movement was great. Shots was falling in. Good defense was being played, and everything good for the Clippers that could possibly happen was going pretty well. So pretty much, I'm gonna go player by player, like how I usually do in every vid. So first of all, Marcus Morris, shout out to him. He was splashing as usual, making some nice threes. Um, Always, doing his nice, usual, good post fadeaways. But yeah, doing typical Marcus Morris things. Keep it consistent, muck. Reggie Jackson, hey, that boy literally crossed two people up, bro. But really sucked that his shot did not fall in. Um, I thought he kind of did pretty solid in terms of the scoring board. He seemed like kind of a little bit inefficient still, but he got 14 assists though. 14 assists. That's just wild. 14 assists, you guys. And then a lot of people were saying Reggie Jackson is not a point guard. He's more of a shooting guard. But Reggie Jackson, though, he's been shown that he could kind of play the point guard. But I kind of still somewhat understand the people why he say he's just a shooting guard, because he can be turnover prone. But he got 14 assists. And his playmaking improved in general. But 14 assists, that's just beyond impressive. But man, Reggie, if you switch that shot, he crossed. I forgot what's the dude name, but he crossed him and Christian Wood. Man, that would have been so epic if that shot went in. That would be like literally like one of the biggest highlights. Like the biggest highlights. But hey, 14 assists, that's just impressive. Big shout out to you, Reggie. And then Big Zoo. Big Zoo, he's been ever since, the Dallas Mavericks game, he improved big time. I mean, he improved very, very big time. Defense improved, got kind of quicker, was more switchable to guard more of the outside, and he was doing great in the post, just backing people down, just munching in the paint. And also, his hook shots are getting better and more efficient. And he was basically kind of cooking Christian Wood because, Christian Wood's on a skinnier side of the spectrum, and Zubac was just, being like he's actually, like, if you think about it, he's actually pretty physically strong. And also, what I kind of like about Zubac is his passing, improved this year. So that's a really good big plus for Vika Zubac. And the man tonight, the player tonight, Luke Kennard, he literally sniped it. He literally sniped it. Like, Luke Kennard improved a lot from compared to the beginning of the season to right now. Beginning of the season and last season, he was, more on of, he's just like more of a strictly spot up shooter and all that, which is like he still, I mean, he still is like strictly a shooter, but he definitely leveled his bag up. Like last year in the beginning of the season, Luke Kennard was just the type of guy that he's a great shooter when he's open, but if you put a lockdown defender on him, it's kind of easier to lock him up. But Luke Kennard, like since like let's just say, maybe like I want to say like November or December, he leveled his bag up. He became like actually like a legit threat from the 3 point line. Um, I mean, he always was. It's not saying he wasn't a legit threat. He was always a legit threat from the 3 point line ever since he was born. But like, he was like way now he's like actually like tough to guard. Like even if you guard him contested, like even like when Luke Kennard doesn't get like when players actually play good defense on him and when they close out on him like real good, Luke Kennard still manages to switch. So Luke Kennard came from a really long way. He really did, and he also improved a lot on the defensive end too, because I believe he got 2 steals, that is pretty good for Luke Kennard, and he's just improving in general. And I'm glad that he's actually proving me wrong, and it's satisfying to hear when someone's on your team that is proving that he's way better than you would expect him to be. And hey, big shout out to Luke. And best of luck to him to win the 3 point contest, because my boy finna win it. Our boy finna win it. And then you got who else gotta say? Terrence Mann. I thought he did pretty solid, played great defense, got the momentum in, and just doing typical Terrence Mann things. Rocco played pretty solid on defense, hustling, being that really perfect, gritty guy in general. And then you got Isaiah Hornstein, who essentially brought really good energy, who is, more of like an electrifying person, a type player, like electrifying top player, like especially getting some nice dunks, nice floaters. And I noticed Hornstein confident is literally stepping up because now he's willing to shoot threes. Even though I know he airballed it, but that shows sign that he's willing to improve by a lot. Like he's trying to expand his range. And that's one thing that I wish Zubac can do is try to expand his range. Like maybe you don't have to be uh like a Nikola Jokic from the 3, but he could try to expand, like shoot from the mid range and all stuff. Like at least like in the practice and all stuff. Like expand his range. It'll be really great if Zubac can shoot threes. Then that would just be really tough to stop. That would be like honestly like a Clipper version of Nikola Jokic. Honestly, if he expands to the 3 point line. And who else got pretty much like talk about? Amir Coffey, like he got big minutes again, and he did fairly solid. He made some nice acrobatic layups in the fourth quarter, but he didn't do bad. But he's on more of a solid top of the spectrum, and then like Brandon Boston Jr. He only got garbage time minutes, and like let's be brutally honest, like I know the Clippers won, but I'm still like kind of disappointed in one thing of Tyronn Lue's rotation, and he's still like I feel like Brandon Boston Jr. should be getting minutes in of a lot of times because not only because Brandon Boston has superstar potential, it's just because I don't want to see players get hurt. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want to hear news reports saying, "Oh, Reggie Jackson with a let's just say a torn elbow or something like that." I don't want to see another injury report. So that's why I would want to see them young players get some minutes. Well, it's not like we really have too much young players right now since a lot of them are hurt. My boy Jay Scrub, big prayers up to him. I really hope he gets better because I know that dude's going to be a beast. And Jason Preston, who's yet to play, but you still have Brandon Boston Jr. and like I would definitely love to see him take the load off for some of our main players or some of our second unit and all that stuff because that definitely could help, prevent an injury and all that. And the Rockets were like the perfect team to do that. Like, look, I know it's going to be tough to get young players minutes, like especially a player like Brandon Boston Jr. or Jay Scrub, but what Tyronn Lue could do sometimes is like maybe like you don't have to like always try to like give him minutes like every single game, but if you although it would be great if they can get minutes like every single game, but like I mean I would definitely try to do that if I was a coach, but if you're not gonna do it every single game, at least like maybe do it in every few games, like when we play more like a like let's just say a more of a mediocre team that's that we definitely could easily beat, or when we're like literally in a big back-to-back schedules, like Tyronn Lue should definitely take advantage of getting the young guys some runs because like it's important to try to utilize everybody, and you just kind of want to prevent like a overload on some of the players because like you don't want to tire the players out, and you especially do not want to waste the talents because gotta definitely especially get them young guys in because that's key to um, being a really successful team in general. But going back on to the player's performance, Brandon Boston Jr. He was nice and aggressive. I know his efficiency wasn't may not have been perfect. He did shoot an air ball, but he managed to get to the line a lot of times, and he played great defense. He got some nice steals. He was just his confidence is pretty great, and like I said, like me and Madara said, he definitely should be getting minutes for sure because we all know how good that dude is. And then you got we basically seen Ojale and Rodney Hood played. Rodney Hood he didn't really do too much, but Sammy Ojale like he I low key kind of see something in him, and he looks pretty solid. He looks like he could be like a hmm. He low key could be like a PJ Tucker type player because he's kind of like a bit like short for a power forward, but he's really strong. But he can shoot the ball, and his defense is somewhat solid. He's pretty mobile, and he's pretty good if you want to play small ball. So Ojale, like he kind of looks solid, but the Clippers could definitely get way more value from Serge than just Semi Ojale. But um, Ojale he actually did pretty solid. Like he's shown abilities to space the floor, which is I thought that was pretty impressive, and his free throw shooting is pretty good. So that's a big positive of Semi Ojale. But essentially, yeah, that's just how the Clippers did in general. Now I'm gonna try to talk about the Houston Rockets a little bit. Jalen Green, um, solid young stud. Um, he may have not really shot that efficient, but he did fairly good for a rookie. Shot to Jalen Green, it was gonna be pretty good. Um, they got Josh Christopher, who got Josh Christopher. Jay Gupp, he got some nice dunks. Did pretty decently solid. Um, they got Jayshawn Tate, who played pretty good defense. I believe he kind of spaced the floor, did something like that. And then they got Kevin Martin Jr. or Kenyon Martin Jr. My bad. Did pretty solid. Um, he did pretty good last year. And he seems to be doing solid this year, and he did solid this game for the Houston Rockets. Elpin Shangun, I believe he did all right. Christian Wood, um, he did what he could, but Zubac just definitely took um, good advantage of him just because how skinny as his frame is. But yeah, the Rockets were missing Kevin Porter Jr. and missing um yeah, I think they were just missing Kevin Porter Jr. But yeah, this was a pretty great win for the Clippers. But I just definitely felt Tyronn Lue should definitely try to find a lot of ways to get Brandon Boston Jr. some big minutes because one, like I said, he has superstar potential. Two, I just don't want. I just do not want to see any injuries happen because we're already injured a lot, man. So even like when the Clippers are fully healthy, like Tyronn Lue should always like try to find ways to get young players some minutes. Like let's just say next season, Norman comes back, everyone comes back, Kawhi PG comes back. Tyronn Lue should that most definitely try to find ways to get players like Boston and Scrubs some minutes. I know Coffey's probably gonna get minutes because that's honestly like Tyronn Lue's main rotation, but like I said, like if you're not gonna give um Boston Jr. and Scrub every play them every game, at least like every other every few games, like especially when you face like a pretty trash team or a mediocre team or whatever you want to call them, like definitely get players like Boston and Scrub into consuming Scrub fully recovers because you don't want to waste the talent. You want to see what they can do, and you also want to try to ease off the load of our main players, which is that would be a big win-win. Like that's one thing Tyronn Lue could definitely try to improve on down the line, just but again, nevertheless, great win for Clipper Nation, and I'm looking forward for the All-Star weekend. I'm looking for the Rising Star challenge, and looking forward for the 3-point contest. Luke Kennard, best luck to him. And the Rising Star is going to be pretty interesting too, because can't wait to see my boy Scoot Henderson to see what he got in his bag, because that's my personal favorite up and coming prospect. He's going to be 2023. I'm gonna just give a brief information for him a little bit. He's basically supposed to be a high schooler, but he skipped senior year, and then he's playing in the NBA G League, and now he's gonna play in the actual NBA Rising Star Challenge, which is that's pretty some tough stuff here. So he's gonna be pretty good. Let's just say that. But anyways, let me just wrap up this video. Just let me know what you think about this game or this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll do whatever it takes to chat with y'all in the comment section. And peace.